Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So just going to give you some latest news regarding Romelu Lukaku. According to the mainstream media recently, Lukaku has reportedly said that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker wanted to keep him at the football club. But reportedly Lukaku back in March did tell Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he did want to leave the football club anywhere. But Lukaku did leave Manchester United during the course of the summer. Obviously, we got around £74 million for him. So Inter Milan paid £74 million to get him. I was actually happy, with the money, we did generate from his current departure. Maybe certain Manchester United fans will feel as though it maybe was a mistake to currently get rid of him. But obviously, he had to go anywhere because Lukaku had initially lost his place in the team. But Lukaku did enjoy 2 seasons with Manchester United. Obviously, he was actually exceptional in his first season at the club and that. He had that proven pedigree in the Premier League. But in his second season, he didn't, replicate, what he did in his first season, really. But he initially lost his place in the team. But obviously, a lot of Man United fans anyway had element of concerns about Lukaku. His first touch, was an element of concern. Obviously, he was a big game bottler, used to struggle to score against the big teams. Obviously, isn't reliable enough, to get them runs in behind. But I think since he's gone to Inter Milan, Lukaku, he has done really, really well. I do agree on the aspects as well that, when we did get him back in 2017 from Everton, we did overpay for him, because we paid £75 million for him. There was £15 million in add-ons, which did potentially, rise it to around £90 million. But yeah, I think Solskjaer, well, according to Lukaku, we said that Solskjaer, wanted to keep him at the football club because maybe we thought, he was an imperative player. So that's the latest news regarding that. But I did say, the vast majority of our players, that left during the course of the summer, the vast majority of them, of course, went to Italy. Alexis Sanchez, obviously, went to Inter Milan. So he's reuniting with Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Darmian went to Parma. Chris Smalling went to Roma. So quite a lot of our players, went to Italy. And I still did say, didn't I, that I still believe, these more players that do need to leave the football club. I still believe probably another 4 or 5 more players do need to leave next year. I know a lot of players have left though since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I've already said to you, the players that I think need to leave. I think definitely Ashley Young is one of the problematic players. I think, we need to get rid of him next year because Young has passed his sell-by date at the football club. He is now 34. He is 35 next year. Also, another mistake for Manchester United last season was giving Young that new 1-year extension. He's no longer first choice, but these actually question marks regarding Solskjaer on that, aspect. Why has he been playing Ashley Young on a regular basis this season? Maybe it's something to do with the amount of injuries, where we've had. But yeah, he definitely needs to go. But Young has been a long-serving player at Manchester United. Young is now into his 9th season at the football club. He has been here around 8 years. But definitely, needs to be moved on. My overarching view on Phil Jones, he's another one of the problematic players. And, he needs to be moved on. Again, it was a bad mistake from the football club last season, giving Phil Jones that new long-term contract. But Jones has been here more or less the same amount of time as, Ashley Young, because Jones is now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. So we definitely need to get rid of him next year. Nemanja Matic, we definitely need to get rid of him. Because overall, anyway, I've got a lot of element of concerns about our midfield, and it's one of the priority areas, where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. We definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera, and some Man United fans will believe that was also another mistake from the football club, letting Ander Herrera, run his contract down and letting him go on a free transfer, because you could arguably say that Ander Herrera, was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. But he enjoyed 5 years at Man United, and analysing it, I think he had a good 3.5, 4 years out of the 5 years, where he was here. But yeah, we definitely no need to reinvest in that midfield. But I think, even though we haven't strengthened up in that midfield as yet, I did say any of our current midfield options at the moment are much better solutions than Matic, because Matic anywhere has initially lost his place in the team, due to his inconsistency. Matic is now into his third season as a Manchester United player. We did get him back in 2017 from Chelsea. I think we paid around £40 million for him again. Where we overpaid for him, but we're known for overpaying for players, especially in recent years. But yeah, Matic is too slow, too easily predictable. Maybe certain aspects of his game, he can do well, but the vast majority of the aspects of his game are very, very poor. And he's 31 years of age now, and he isn't getting any younger. And, I think we could lose him on a free transfer at the end of the season, because that's when his current contract does expire. But we actually do have an option to extend it by a further year. But I'm very sceptical about Man United, extending his contract by a further year. Some people believe that Jesse Lingard does need to be moved on by the football club because he's enjoyed a really difficult time this season. Jesse Lingard, don't get me wrong, my perception on him, I still think is a long-term solution for Man United. But like I've recently put into the equation, reflecting on the amount of years he's been at Man United, reflecting on his status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. So some Man United fans are demanding him out now. They believe he's no longer good enough to represent the football club. His performances have obviously been totally comparison to the likes of Rashford and Martial, especially recently. So he's got to step up to the plate. So there's still quite a lot of players anywhere that have got to step up to the plate. Obviously, I give you the news regarding Chon not too long ago. I think he's going to be leaving. At the end of the season. Well, according to recent reports, anywhere. According to recent reports they've basically said, Chong has decided not to renew his contract, and, he's allegedly informed Man United he will be leaving at the end of the season, because his current contract does come to an end. It comes to an end at the end of the season. So we will lose him on a free transfer. I think according to recent reports, Juventus are interested in signing him. But yeah, maybe he's one of the upcoming players that do need to leave Manchester United next year anywhere. Because I'd say his appearances have been limited at the club. I think he's only played on 4 occasions. I think he has played a couple of times this season. But, I think it's totally comparison anywhere to the likes of Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams and Tuan Zebi and that. So I think, he will be leaving at the end of the season. So I do expect another 5 or 6 more players to leave next year. I did say, didn't I, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more, if we are, to be future title contenders, and if we are to be back, to where we do currently want to be. But obviously there's still, deficiencies in the squad that definitely need to be addressed next year. And like I said, we need a midfielder. We also need at least one striker. We do need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you could arguably say, since their departures, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line. But I think, since Martial recovered from injury, he's regained himself, and he's obviously adding more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch, and he's helping likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. But I still believe we need to add experience in that attacking line. But the good thing is, Solsjaker is already making plans for January, because, it's not that long now until January. And I think, like I mentioned, recently, and I've mentioned numerous times that, we're orchestrating on spending a substantial amount next year, recruiting new players. And, we spent a substantial amount during the course of the summer. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And like I mentioned, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. They've all settled in, very, very quick. And, I'm actually, surprised at Daniel James, of how quick he settled in to the football club, because when we signed Daniel James in the summer, I did expect him, obviously, to get game time and that, but I didn't expect him, to be our first choice, straight away. I didn't expect him to play the amount of games as he has done. So I'm also, surprised at that. And, he was a cheap solution. We only paid around £18 million for Daniel James and that. That's what it totaled up to, including the add-ons. But if he continues these good run of performances, his valuation will persistently grow. There's still some improvements needed in his game. You can still classify him as a prospect and he needs time to develop. Solskjaer, you can say, has been overplaying in this season because I think he's played around 16 games, is it, or 17 games for Man United this season. Been very impressed with him. I'm Wan-Bissaka. You can say he's been one of our most consistent signings so far. And, with Harry Maguire, I think you can say he's addressed our defensive deficiencies. Again, we overpaid for him. He's obviously the most expensive defender in the world. We paid around, 70 million up front for him with 10 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise up to around £80 million. I think Harry Maguire is definitely not on that. He's on that, list of the top 5, defenders in the world, and that he's on that list, but obviously, he's not at the top because obviously he's totally comparison to Virgil van Dijk because I think Virgil van Dijk is the best centre-half in the world and that. But credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect. He did recommend 3 good players to the squad during the course of the summer and that. But I think an estimated guess, we're orchestrating on spending from maybe 200 to 250 million pounds next year, or from 250 to 300 million pounds next year. But I did initially say I think we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So we'll look to sign 1 or 2 players in January. So in January we'll look to address some of the problematic areas. Then we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. Some people still obviously believe we should give Solskjaer at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend in to the football club. Because obviously there's only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anyway, so you can take that into account. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the squad. Obviously Van Gaal, he recommended a lot of players in. Obviously the vast majority of them have now left, but there's still some of them here. There's still Matty from the David Moyes era, and there's still about 2 or 3 players even from the Ferguson era. So take into account Solskjaer is inheriting all of them. So you can still quite frankly say he's in the process of rebuilding. But he is, like I said, making plans for January. And, I think he will get given a couple of windows because I can definitely assure that Solskjaer will be here at the end of this season. I can probably almost assure that he won't see out his 3-year contract because don't forget, when Solskjaer had been given the job, he did sign a 3-year contract, which was in March earlier on this year. And I think 3 years, is enough time, to, is enough time, for Solskjaer, to, turn things around at Manchester United. Maybe if we can, keep this good run of form up until the end of the season and until January at least, then my perceptions, may start changing, regarding Solskjaer. But until then, I still don't think he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. So I don't think he is the long-term future for the club. I know we've rejuvenated ourselves, you can say, in the last 6 games. We have rejuvenated ourselves, which has been very, very good. I think prior to the Bournemouth defeat, the other week, I think we've done really, really well since the Liverpool game. So, you can say, we've turned the corner and we seem to be, heading in the right direction. And I think, reflecting on our good run of form recently. Now, I think a lot of pressure has eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because reflecting back before the Liverpool game, Solskjaer was under intense pressure at the football club. And you could arguably say that, the game against Liverpool and the game against Norwich, you could arguably say they've saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. Because if we had suffered a heavy defeat to Liverpool and if we had lost to Norwich, that could have easily, ended Solskjaer's tenure at the football club. But, I said us getting rid of Solskjaer now anyway, wouldn't solve a lot of problems at the football club. But even if we got rid of him before Christmas or, next year or, whenever, he's obviously, it's gonna cost the club a substantial amount to get rid of him. We're gonna have to pay quite a bit of money in compensation. We probably wouldn't have to pay as much to get rid of Solsjaker, than what we did to get rid of Jose Mourinho. I think we paid around, was it 21 or 22 million to get rid of Jose Mourinho. But like I said, I have been very, very impressed recently, and I've seen a variety of changes, recently. Certain players have stepped up to the plate. We've been scoring more goals. Recently, we've seen to be creating more chances, and that's also been an element of concern for the vast majority of this season. We haven't been creating enough chances and that, and this is probably the explanation why in the vast majority of our games this season we haven't been scoring enough goals, but recently we've been creating chances. Like I said, we've been scoring more goals recently, so that's also improved. We've been recently as well, showing good attacking, showing good attacking intent, which is very, very good. Defensively, looked much better. Also, we've showed a lot of tactical flexibility recently, because obviously, as you're all aware, for the vast majority of this season, a lot of Man United fans, including me, obviously, have been criticising Solskjaer's tactics, because for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer's been tactically naive. Some of his team selections and that have been questionable. But for the vast majority of this season anyway, we've been sticking with that 4-2-3-1 formation. And we know for the vast majority of this season that 4-2-3-1 formation hasn't seemed to be working. In a couple of games, Solskjaer, went with a few different formations. Obviously, he's tried a few different elements in that to see if, obviously, we can see if things can change around. And, he's gone with 3-5-2, I think, this season. I think he's also gone with the 3-4-1-2, I think. I think on the odd occasion he's gone with a 4-3-3. But you could arguably say, we look to see him better with three at the back. But yeah, I've been very, very happy, recently. Obviously, I've got to say, from my own perception, the best performance of the season, in the Premier League was the 3-1 win against Brighton before the international break. Probably that is the best performance in the league this season. I also thought Norwich away was a very, very good performance. The game in the Europa League against Partizan Belgrade, the second leg, that was also a very, very good performance. It was also a good performance in the 1-1 draw with Liverpool. I thought it was abysmal in the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, but we have bounced back well since then, so credit the players. But with that win against Brighton, it put us up to 7th in the league, because prior to that game, we was sitting 14th in the league. So it just shows you, the difference 3 points does make. So there's still a lot of twists and turns to come, and there's still a long way to go in the Premier League season. Because we're only 12 games into the Premier League season. We've won 4 in the league. We've only won 4 in the league, and Solskjaer recently admitted anywhere that our league form does need to improve, because we've won as many, or we have won more games in the cup. Well, we've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So in that aspect in the league, we've registered 16 points from a possible 36. We're around 9 points behind top 4. But yeah, like I said, I fully disregarded the top 4, because I think now it's going to be hard for us, to get into that top 4. And I did say, at the start of this season that I expected us, to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season. I expected us, the expectations were, I would have presumed at the start of the season was, to get into that top 4, so we can obviously, get into the Champions League. But I've got element of concerns about it now. Like I've recently mentioned, I think our only route to Champions League football for next season is progressing in the Europa League. And I think we could actually win the Europa League, to be quite honest with you, because we haven't done too bad in the Europa League. We're in the knockout stages now of the competition. We've still 2 games remaining, so that's obviously a positive. But the league form has definitely still got to definitely improve. still got to improve. And I know, we've enjoyed our worst start to, Premier League season for, is it 30 years or just over 30 years? So I think the last time we had as bad a start to the season as this was it back under the Ron Atkinson era, obviously, before the Alex Ferguson era. But, despite the disastrous start to the season, Ed Woodward obviously still insists 100% that he is back in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he did recently assure that his job is currently safe. And obviously, Solskjaer's, he's replicating Ed Woodward in that aspect because Solskjaer feels as though he's still the right man to elevate Manchester United forward, But, Solskjaer anyway, has got a lot of players on his current agenda, who he would like to recommend in to the football club next year. I was reading recent reports and it was saying that, Solskjaer could consider changing his transfer strategy, for January, because his initial transfer strategy was, recruiting young British players, like he obviously did do during the course of the summer. So I've been giving the latest news recently, haven't I, regarding the transfer news. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation going on about Erling Haaland, who currently plays for Red Bull Salzburg. Reportedly, it says this Solskjaer's, we've got. I think this is around the £200 million, spending spree, that we're going to orchestrate on doing, This is £200 million spending spree, and that's what it's going to cost Man United to get Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho, reportedly, because we are considering getting them in January. So they are going to cost us a substantial amount, our both players. Erling Haaland's going to cost us around, 85 million. Jadon Sancho is going to cost us in the excess of 100 million. So we'll be nearly paying £200 million if we're not paying £200 million for both players. I think the beneficial thing about us, recommending Erling Haaland in is that obviously he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short period with Mould. Obviously, I think Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with a player, and he's been in absolutely, tremendous form, for Red Bull Salzburg this season. He's been a revelation for Red Bull Salzburg this season. He scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions. He scored around 7 goals in the Champions League. He is only 19 years of age, and again, I think he will be a good, adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. And I do believe now we've identified Erling Haaland as one of our priority targets. I think Jadon Sancho and Erling Haaland are our two top targets, for next year, But I think, we've recently instructed a personal scout to currently watch Erling Haaland. I don't think he's ever played in the Premier League. But if he came to Manchester United, I think he could, replicate, what he's been doing with Red Bull Salzburg. But I've been keeping you up to date recently on him. And I think, with Jadon Sancho, my overarching view on him, I think he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United, Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is primarily a right winger. I don't think that right winger is as much as a priority as, of us getting a striker or a midfielder. But maybe you could still say we need to recommend a right winger in. Jadon Sancho, don't forget, can also play centrally. There's not only Man United in for him, there's also Liverpool that have expressed their interest. PSG, also, Real Madrid are also interested. But he did recently say that we are regarded as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho. Recent reports did say he wanted to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer. So actually, it could be, if we are to get him, it's probably more imminent that we'll get him next summer rather than get him in January. But, if we are to pay 100 million for him in January, then that could convince Borussia Dortmund to offer a load of him in January in that. But yeah, the beneficial thing I think about us recommending Jadon Sancho is that obviously he's obviously played in Manchester, he's played in the Premier League, he did serve a couple of years with Man City, but obviously it didn't work out for him at Man City because he never got assured first team opportunities. So this is the reason why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund got him for next to no. They only paid around £7 or £8 million for him and that. But obviously analysed his performances in the couple of years he's been with Dortmund. His valuation has persistently grown, and he is only at age 19. He's still under contract with Dortmund until 2022. But he's a player that can create chances. His runs on off the ball are very, very good. He's got electrifying pace. So yeah, I'd love him at Man United, and I would be excited about the prospects of him. Playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Daniel James, and Martial in our attacking line. But I love him at Manchester United, definitely. But, we was in for Jadon Sancho during the summer. We also went in for Jadon Sancho, back in January. He was actually, our top priority, back in January. But obviously we didn't get him, I think the main factor reason was with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. So them two, Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho, are our two main priority targets for next year. But I think, they're both of them, to be honest with you, would be the right calibre players for Man United. I think it's also very, very imminent that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic next year. I think it's imminent that we're going to get him in January, to be quite honest with you. So I think, he will be our first signing in January. He will be our fourth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaker era. I was reading recent reports, and it said reportedly Mario Mandzukic has decided to join Manchester United in January, so he has made his decision. And he did say, if we could reach an informal agreement with Juventus before January, then we could get Mario Mandzukic in December, so he could start training with the football club. Don't forget, we went in for Mario Mandzukic towards the back end of the summer transfer window, but obviously, we didn't get him. But I think analysing it overall, he's had a really, really good career. So I do admire him for that. I think overall he's been in the limelight for Juventus. Obviously, he hasn't been given his chances. He hasn't been given any opportunities this season because since Maurizio Sarri got recommended in, he hasn't played a single minute under Maurizio Sarri's guidance. So, obviously, Mario Mandzukic served his two requirements. The Juventus have held talks with Man United because the Juventus chef not too long ago flown out to England to hold these talks. But, the good thing is about Mario Mandzukic, he is a cheap solution. We'd only have to pay probably in the region of around maybe 12 or 13 million pounds to recommend him in. My only element of concern I've got about as recommending Mario Mandzukic is that, he is now age 33. You could arguably say he's only got a couple of years left in his footballing career. Yeah. But again, he's a good replacement for Lukaku. Obviously, isn't a long-term replacement for Lukaku. Obviously, regarding his age. So it's looking likely, he's another player that's going to be coming in. But yeah, these are so many many players on our current agenda. But I think, the board did confirm anyway at the start of this season that regardless of the outcome this season, that, Solskjaer's job will be safe. Plus, they did assure he will be back to him in the next couple of windows, because I think the board realised during the course of the summer that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. That they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. So this is what, the board did currently realise. But even though, like I said, we have rejuvenated ourselves recently, I still believe, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. So, I think, we need to get rid of our current board, because I think, like I mentioned, our board, you can't rely on it. It's been a liability for several years, so we need to get rid of our current board. And I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. I also do believe that Ed Woodward is a liability, so he's compatible to the board in that aspect, and I think he also needs to go. Obviously, due to our inconsistency in some games this season, Solskjaer's definitely now been accountable for that. And like I said, so the board needs to go, Ed Woodward needs to go, like I mentioned earlier on the video, more players need to go, and I think, we also need to recommend a new director of footballing, because I did initially say, that's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club, and, if we are to get a director of football, we need someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who would be reliable to obviously our transfer business, someone who's got the correct philosophy, to, obviously recruit the right calibre players to the football club. Obviously, we can't get Van der Sar in now as our new technical technical director, because he's just signed a contract extension with Ajax. He's the CEO of Ajax, by the way. A lot of Man United fans probably would have felt he would have been the right candidate for the football club. Obviously, during the summer, Ferdinand, Darren Fletcher, and Patrice Everett were linked with the role. And you could arguably say if we'd got that director of footballing during the summer, then maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been backed more. But obviously, we currently didn't. We currently didn't and that. And but definitely, further more investment is needed in the squad. Like I said, we've got a good squad at the moment. Obviously, it isn't good enough to win the league or challenge for the league. I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next 2, maybe even 3 years. Because I did initially say anywhere, our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons and that. Yeah. Obviously, as well, I've said to you on numerous occasions that, there's some aspects of me, that I do credit Solskjaer and that, like I said, he got rid of a lot of the deadwood during the summer. He's done well recently. He's obviously got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, because there's a lot of young players at Manchester United, that are developing and trying to improve. And, Solskjaer, you could say he's being good at developing, young players, and I think in that aspect he does, compliment Fergie. He compliments. No, he doesn't. He replicates Ferguson. Sorry, because Ferguson obviously developed a lot of young players, and obviously they emulated themselves up, and obviously became world class. And I've got the same perception on this. There's some young upcoming players at Man United that I think are going to become a success. I think Mason Greenwood's going to become a success. Brandon Williams is going to become a success, and Tuan Zebe is going to become a success. And I think I also think the same about James Garner. Mason Greenwood, I say his comparison to Rashford and Martial at the moment. I don't think he's as good as them at the moment, but I think as he develops more, I think he will eventually overcome them. I said by the time he's 23, 24, he will be a world class centre forward for Man United. I know he's also an option on that right. But I think he seems to be better in that number 9, because the vast majority of this season when he's played, he's operated in that number 9 and that. But Martial's obviously the most effective player in that number 9 position. And this is why we're giving that number 9 shirt at the start of the season. But, Solskjaer, recently said that, Mason Greenwood is learning the men's game. He recently compared him to Robin Van Persie, saying their finishing is similar. Mason Greenwood scored now 3 senior goals for the football club this season. There's question marks around Solskjaer regarding that. Why is Mason Greenwood why is he not yet started the game from the start in the Premier League? But I'm sure, he definitely will. But I think he'll end up, overtaking Rashford or Mason Greenwood, eventually. Scholes obviously, believes that from his own perception. Brandon Williams, he did really, really well on his full debut for the football club in the 3-1 win against Brighton. Fair play to Brandon Williams, and you can say now that left back has been confirmed, because I think he's a better solution than Luke Shaw. Even though Luke Shaw is obviously our first choice left back, he's definitely a much better solution than Ashley Young. So he'll start playing a lot more regularly now. Will Brandon Williams? He's obviously already earned more first team promotions, reflecting on his impressive performances. But fair play to him. Tuan Zebe, like I said, in the games he's played in this season, he's been very, very impressive. But he's been out of a hip injury, so he hasn't played since I think the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. And James Garner, he's played quite a few games this season. I thought he did really, really well on his full debut in the 1-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, so credit him for that. So credit him for that, to be quite honest with you. But so I'd credit him for that. But yeah, he's got a lot of faith in his young upcoming players. I also have got element of concerns about Solskjaer, as you are aware of. You know, he hasn't really got that, managerial experience, and you can say that's an element of concern. It doesn't mean he's not going to turn it around at Man United. He's not going to do well. I'm just saying it's always beneficial when you've got that managerial experience, and Solskjaer doesn't really have it. Obviously he was at Mould before he came to Man United. Don't forget, he won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only lasted around 28 or 29 games for Cardiff because he got sacked from Cardiff, because he ended up, getting them relegated, But, I've already given you the couple of reasons why, we decided to recommend Solskjaer in after the dismissal of Jose Mourinho in December of last year, is because, Solskjaer was a cheap solution. Also, we just saw it as though that, he knows the culture of the football club and that, but he just hasn't got that managerial experience. But it's totally comparison to how he was as a player, because he was actually a great player for the club, and obviously he's actually got that proven pedigree as a player. He served 11 years with Manchester United, so he was a long serving player. But yeah, he's going to be staying at Man United at least for this season. We're still backing him all the way. And I think, with him being a club legend as well, I think that's obviously made the board soften their stance a little bit, because maybe if, he wouldn't have been a club legend, that disregarding that, maybe, he would have still been under pressure now, or he would have obviously, been sacked from the football club. But Solskjaer's had to obviously make a lot of alterations. He's had to make a lot of alterations in the squad anyway this season, reflecting on the amount of injuries we have had. These still players out now with injury. Don't forget. Some players have come back and that. But Solskjaer, recently did confirm that after the international break, more players, would have regained their full fitness. So I think he did say Matic, Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw should be all back after the international break. This is what, Solskjaer had said. Obviously, Matic's been out of a minor problem. Tuanzebe's been out of a hip injury, like I mentioned. Luke Shaw's been out of a hamstring injury. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. And you can say he's been a big miss. I know a lot of people talk about, Luke Shaw being injury prone. He is injury prone, is Luke Shaw. Not to the same extent as, Eric Bailly, because I think he's a lot more injury prone than Luke Shaw. But still he's injury prone and that. But I think prior to that, he's mainly had a good career with Man United as Luke Shaw. And, he's still got a lot of development in him. But I think he's now close to, regaining full fitness anywhere. I think it's unknown, when Diego Dalot will be back in contention. He sustained quite a few injuries this season, as Diego Dalot. But yeah, when he's back, I do believe he will get more opportunities. Will Diego Dalot? Obviously, recently give you the news, didn't I, regarding Scott McTominay. He's had initial scans on his ankle, obviously to find out the extent of the injury, and his injury is more severe than we first feared. So there was reports recently saying that McTominay could be out for a month with his ankle injury. And I think it's almost been assured that he will be missing the Man City and the Tottenham game next month. They are two imperative games, and McTominay, you can say, is an imperative player. Reflecting on his good performances this season, he's actually been a revelation this season for Man United, because I didn't expect him to perform to the standards as we expected in that, but he's done really, really well, and he's exceeded what he had to do so far. In regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that, but fair play to McTominay, he has done well, and he's been irregular this season, but he had to recently withdraw from the Scotland squad, don't forget. But yeah, so he's out with an ankle injury. As I give you the news about Pogba, nothing much more is really updated about Paul Pogba. All I can say to you basically is that He had his ankle cast removed early on this week. He travelled to Amsterdam, obviously, to have it, removed and that. And that's good. It just indicates out basically that Paul Pogba now is closer to recovering from injury, which is obviously very very good news. And you can say he has been big missing that midfield anywhere, is Paul Pogba. But I think the last league game played was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season. Paul Pogba, don't forget, could still leave Manchester United next year. Don't forget, for the entirety of the summer, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. I think his move to Real Madrid during the summer didn't materialise, reflects on the substantial amount we wanted for him. We wanted around 180 million. That was just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016 and that. And Real Madrid themselves anywhere during this summer spent a substantial amount. They spent around, was it £300 million on 5 players and that. But I could still say his preference is still move to Real Madrid. But this, regardless of what happens with Pogba, we've still got to address that midfield anywhere. Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Man United, with an option to extend it by a further year. But yeah, I don't think Pogba's expected back until December. This is what Solskjaer had currently confirmed. This is what, Solskjaer had recently confirmed and that. But anyway, Fred's taking Paul Pogba's position for a while and that. And to be fair, Fred's recently, done well. He's, rejuvenated himself. I've almost got the same perception on Fred of what I've got of McTominay. Comparing Fred and McTominay, I think they are two different players. So they are comparison and that. I think McTominay is better than Fred of what I've seen at the moment, but Fred's recently done well. And to be fair, they have complemented each other fantastically well in that midfield. But Fred definitely deserves more time at the football club. He's only been here since last summer. We paid, was it 50 million or just under 50 million pounds from Shakhtar Donetsk. But yeah, definitely give him more time and that. And you could say, according to Fred, what he said, Solskjaer's backing is behind his improved form at the football club anyway. So, yeah. And like I said, Solskjaer has been at Man United overall now for around 11 months. He has been here just under a year and that. Has obviously, been permanent manager for around 8 months. Obviously for the vast majority of that 8 months it's been disappointing. Obviously it's comparison to what I saw, when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. Because my perceptions were different regarding Solskjaer in that 3-month period. Obviously, there was a lot of good results in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Winning at Arsenal away, winning at Chelsea away in the cup. Winning away at PSG. 3-1. Overcoming a 2-goal deficit from the first leg, and that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager. Well, yeah, definitely he does deserve more time at the football club. Does Solskjaer? But yeah, I think he may be still under some kind of pressure, but not obviously loads of pressure in that. As you all know, I think not all our squad, but the vast majority of our squad have actually flown out to Dubai for a warm weather training camp, according to recent reports. But Solskjaer hasn't gone, so he's remained in England. Big game after the international break. We are playing Sheffield United. That's obviously going to be a tough game because I think they're sitting 5th or 6th, this season. So Sheffield United have been a revelation this season. They've been a huge surprise, and you've got to credit Chris Wilder, because Chris Wilder has done a really really good job with them. Obviously. It's now. I think this is now his 4th season with Sheffield United, and obviously progressed them from League One, to 5th or 6th in the Premier League. So he has done a pretty decent job. So he has done a pretty decent job in that. So I do credit him for that. But, like I said, we have still got injuries, you know. And like I said, anyway, we should be at least challenging for the top four this season. There's no shadow of a doubt about it because, reflecting on the size and potential of this club and, reflecting on the amount of money that's being invested into the football club, we should be much more commanding a position, than winning now. But obviously, no, we're not. There hasn't only been a substantial amount of money invested on players. They've also now got players on substantial wages at the club, big massive contracts and that. But yeah, so I hope when Paul Pogba's back, he can rejuvenate himself because when he was fully fit, he's had bad games this season. When Bay's back next year, hopefully he can do well when he gets his chances. Hopefully when Luke Shaw comes back, he can do well. But yeah, we'll see what happens about that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider a subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless. And I just wanted to give you the news anyway. I've guarded what recently, Ron Lukaku has said. And take care. God bless. And I'll be doing more live videos tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching, guys.